Hey everyone, Hunter coming back at you again. I've had a few requests, or actually I've had people ask me how I go about doing my LEDs in some of my models that I've done, mainly in my car stuff. Several of them have LED headlights and tail lights in them, and especially at the shows, I've got a lot of requests on how I actually accomplish that. And there's several different ways to do it. I personally use LEDs from Evans Designs, which is modeltrainsoftware.com. When you get them, they come in little packs like this. This set here is actually 1.8 millimeter, and this is for a 3-volt setup like I used in my 1/32 scale Jaguar. And they also are available in the 3 millimeter bulb, which is a little bit bigger. And you can get them in, as soon as I find it here it is, in the 5 millimeter bulb. And I'll hold the 3 and the 5 up here so you get a little bit better idea of the size difference. This is the 3 and this is the 5. I haven't really found a big use for the 5s yet. In 1/24 or 1/25 scale. I'm sure it's out there, I just haven't quite found it yet. I know at one time when I did a light bar on a wrecker project I was working on, I did use 2 5 millimeters in that bar. So there is a use for them. The little 1.8s work very well for the smaller stuff. They will actually work well for like your turn signals and stuff like that. The hardest part to any LED bulb and wiring and all that is actually tucking everything into the body and making it look like it does not have wiring inside of it. Just like my orange Corvette that I've got a showcase video on. That car, when you look at it with the lights off, you never realize that there's anything in that car as far as added light detail or anything. And that took some practice to get right. The technique I'm going to show you here today is actually incorporated into that car. And the reason why I decided to do this was, this is a Corvette body here, 1/25 scale, or actually 1/24 scale, I think. This is a AMT C6 Corvette, and has a real nice set of holes already drilled up here for the headlights, which are projector beam in this car. And the tail light's a little bit different story, a little bit harder to get to, but it can be done. You got to modify it a little bit. But the bad thing about this car is when you start trying to tuck wiring into this and then put the chassis pan and all the stuff back into the car for final assembly, the wires get in the way. So a way around that is, I found out that bare metal foil, which is what I have stuck here to this piece of plastic, is conductive, because it's actually metal. So what I do with that is I'll run a positive lead and a negative lead inside the car, and sometimes I will run, I'll run a positive lead down this side, and I'll run a negative lead down the other side, and then I'll have a lot of times crossovers in here. And the good thing about the bare metal foil is it's nice and flat and it's self-adhesive. It sticks very well. The one thing you have to remember is when you're putting it in, make sure that you do not get any breaks in it, because if you do, you'll lose your electrical path that you're trying to accomplish. But it works very well. And to show you how I go about doing it, for the most part, I'm not going to go into the whole technique on how I put all this stuff in my cars, because it'd be way too time consuming for a video. But if anybody has any questions on how I do something, definitely, shoot me a question or whatever, and I'll be more than glad to help you out with that. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to use this 5 millimeter, and you have a positive and a negative, so I'm going to use the top here for my negative. And what you would want to do is, try to leave a little bit of wire off the end of your LED. And then, it's just one of those things that you have to figure out how much space you have to work with, and, how short you can cut things or how long you can cut them. That's up to you on how you do that. If if at all, if you can use wire to do this, to run all of your electrical contacts, definitely do that. It's a much more secure way of doing it. You know, like I say, the bare metal foil does work. I built my Corvette a few years ago, and I mean, when I take it to the shows now, it still lights up just like it did from day one, and it has this technique in it. But basically all we're going to do is, you know, once you have your light mounted and your wire sticking out, strip some of the insulation off of it, and then figure out where to put your bare metal foil from front to rear. And it's just a simple thing of what I like to do is just take the bare metal foil and put right over top of the bare piece of wire and smooth that down. Now also remember, in this situation, say you have 3 lights up front on your car, you can take all of the negatives and run into this here. So all you have to do is twist your negative wires together and put them underneath this piece of bare metal foil, and it will light up all 3 of those. And on the other side, you just take the positive side of the LED, and the same thing there. Now, what I do like to do is, I'm not going to do it on this because this is a good piece of plastic, but I like to take a little spot of super glue, and after I get the LED already mounted and I get it tucked into here, I like to take a little bit of super glue and come right here at the edge of the bare metal foil onto the insulation of the wire, and put a drop of glue over top of that, and same thing here, and hit it with a little bit of accelerator. That way this wire doesn't move around and want to pull out from underneath of your bare metal foil, which it will do if you don't do that. And then some other times, you know, depending on what all's in the neighborhood or whatever of my connection there, I will take a little bit of Tamiya masking tape, and sometimes I'll do this on the whole run, and I'll put right over top of that whole connection, and that would be over the connection and the super glue that you put down here. And the other thing that you can do with the masking tape is, once you get your bare metal foil attached to the inside of your body, you can put a piece of tape over top of that bare metal foil, just like that. And that way, if, say for instance, you have a wire or something metal in the model, it won't conduct into your bare metal foil, because that'll short all your LEDs out, and that'll be a big bad thing for you. So, you know, using the masking tape over top of your connections and everything is a very, very foolproof way of doing it. That way you know your connection stays nice and tight and it doesn't come apart on you. So basically that's what we have. Now on the other end of this, I have a 9-volt battery, because these are 9-volt LEDs, and I have what they call a snap switch, which is just a simple push button on and off switch. And all I'm going to do on this side is, I'm not going to glue anything, but basically it'd be the same thing here where your lead wires would come in. You would bring it in and do the same technique that you did up here. I'm just going to set it here and tape it to the bare metal foil right now. So we got that taped down to the negative. And we'll get another piece of tape off of here, and we'll tape that down to the positive. And like I say, just do the same technique that you did on this end here. Put your drop of super glue here on your lead end wires, wherever you've got them coming in at. And that way you've only got wires at the front and the back. You don't have a wire going down the sides of the car, which would be, you know, through this area right through here on both sides of the car. That way you don't get in the way of your interior pan or anything like that. So that's what we have there. I'm going to throw on the snap switch. And as you can see, with the switch on, the LED blinks. You know, a lot of people say that they've actually told me that this can't be done. There it is. I did it in front of you. Bare metal foil is a conductor because it is actually metal. And it takes up a whole lot less room inside of a scale model than the wires do. Now, actually, if I'm doing wiring my whole combination, I will use, as soon as I get it out here and keep it from being all wound up, hang on, bear with me a second here. There we go. This also came from Model Train Software Company. This is their hookup wire. It's 28 gauge. This is the black, and I also have the red over here. This is the red from them. But, you know, if you run a couple pieces of this down through a model, you'll tell how much room you'll save by doing the bare metal foil trick. Now, another thing is, I would not recommend anybody leave the bare metal foil exposed inside of the model. Once you have all your connections and everything done, definitely do this masking tape trick, because not only does that help protect your current flowing through here, and it protects a piece of metal or something from shorting across them, or, you know, what have you, but it also protects it from being nicked. With the tape, it's going to take a lot more to tear through this tape than it will this bare metal foil. So definitely cover all of your leads up inside the car, and you'll be good to go. So hopefully that gives you an idea on you know, how this technique works. It's very simple. Like I say, if you have any questions on it, just shoot me a message or leave a comment on the video. I'll be more than glad to help you out with that. So I'm going to let you go on that today. I got a couple more videos I'm working on here, so stay tuned for them. And like always, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.